In this video tutorial, I will show you how to install jQuery validation plugin and how to use it to validate forms. So, stay with me. Hey, what's up guys? Senaid here from codingpassiveincome.com, the place where I help others to become a web developer much easier and faster than they will do it on their own. So, if that is something that interests you, consider subscribing. So now I'm here at my PHP store and I have created a new project, and also I have created an empty index.html file. So first thing that I'm going to do, I will just declare a normal HTML document. Let's say we'll have head. In the head I will just have title. Okay, and we will have body. And inside body, let's say I will create a registration form. So let's say method will be post. For this tutorial, this is not important at all. Action, let's say this same file. And then we are going to have some inputs. So first input that I will put, let's say it will be type text. Name will be username. Let's say placeholder will be name. The next one, I will say it will be type email. Name, I will also use email, and the placeholder will be email. The next one, I will say password, and placeholder will be password. I will also use another one that will be type password, and the name I will say confirm password. I will also include one checkbox. Let's say name will be TOS, terms of service. We don't need placeholder. And I'll say here accept terms of service. And let's say I'll adjust another one. Type will be URL. Name will have. Let's say name will be website. Your website. And of course we will need to have one submit button. Let's say register. And let me now just open this in the browser. Okay, so as you can see we have name, email, password, confirm password, website, terms of service, and if we click on the register, nothing happens. So in order to create successful registration form, of course we need to have some way to validate all those inputs. We can do it from the PHP, but it is much better to use it through jQuery. Also, we can just write ourselves the complete JavaScript code, but the better option is to use jQuery validation plugin because it's a lot simpler and easier to use. So first thing is to include jQuery library. So I will go to the code.jquery.com, and here you have the list of all jQuery libraries and all the versions. So I'm going to use minified latest, and I will just copy this code. You can copy it on this way, or you can click this button, whatever you like. And I will paste it just before the closing body tag. Okay. And also we need to include jQuery validation plugin. So I'll go to the jQuery validation.org, and then down below, if you scroll, you can find the links to those libraries. Also, you can go to the GitHub project, but all I need is this link with the jQuery.validate.js file, so I'll just click and go to the copy link address, and here I will say script type text JavaScript, and here I will say this link. So this is all that we need. Now we need to use this plugin, so I will write another text JavaScript, and here I will write the code. So I will say document dot ready function, which means that we are waiting for the document, our object document, to be completely loaded, and then we are going to execute this part of the code here. So now all I want to do is, once this HTML document is loaded, I will just call the method validate for the form, okay, without any option. So as you can see here, since on this page I have only one form, I will just say on object form call the method validate. But if you have multiple forms and you need to do different validations for each of them, you can do something like here, define ID, let's say register form, and here I will just say register form. But if you have only one form, you can use the first fashion. So let's see how is this working now. So this is our code. I will refresh, and now if I click on the register, nothing happens, which means that this plugin has validated and everything is looking good. But this is happening because we do not have any definitions for our inputs. So we can do this on multiple ways. First way is to just inside HTML write the code, and then this plugin will use that code as definitions and check our form, or we can just write the jQuery code. I will first show you a simpler way, which is using HTML. So for example, if we want to validate this name, let's say I will say that minimum length for this name is, let's say, 4 characters, and let's say it is required. So now if I refresh this and try to submit but form, it says this field is required. And now if I just hit any character, it says please enter at least 4 characters. And now if I enter more or 4 and hit register, it is working just fine. And also the same way we can do it for all others. But we are going to have a problems with the password and the confirm password, because we do not have a way to validate using this plugin so that both of them are the same. So my goal is to show you, since this is jQuery tutorial, how to write actually the jQuery code. So I will say here, I'm open and close the brackets, and I will say which is an object, and I will say rules, and I will open again, okay? And down below I will also specify messages. Okay, this is just for you that is simpler, so that you know that you have rules and messages, and I'm going to show you both. So let's say now for this input the name is username, so I will say username, and let's say I will say here required, true, let's say minimum length, let's say 4, and if we test now, it says this field is required. Now if we start typing, Okay, and if we click on the register, it works. I have a mistake here. So now if I do not enter anything, it says this field is required, and if I enter anything shorter than 4 characters and hit register, it won't let me. So now if I go to the register, it will work. Okay, so now let's define some rules for others. So let's say for the email, I will say required true, and I'm going to say email true, which means we are telling to this plugin that this input is type of an email, so he is going to look for a valid email too. After that, I will say password. I will say required true. Let's say minimum length. Let's say 5. So I will duplicate this. For confirm password, we can say required true. We can leave the minimum length, but it's not necessary because I'm going to say equal to, and here I need to specify which I'm looking for. So for this, let's say I will make it simple. I will say here ID password, and here I will say equal to password. So now this plugin will check the confirm password input, and it's required, and also the value needs to be completely the same as the password. So let me show you that. Let's first test. So now if I hit register, it shows what is required. So it says needs to be 4 characters, let's say like this. Email, if I start typing, it says please enter valid email address, so I can say this, it's valid. And now if I start typing password, let's say 1, it says please enter at least 5 characters. So let's say 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the confirm password, if I just type 1, it says please enter the same value again. So I can say 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's working good. And now if I hit register, it works just fine. Now we need to do for the URL. So let's say URL. I'm not going to say that it's required, so I can say required false, but I want to say URL true. Sorry, the name is website, as you can see here. So now this is not required, but if there is some value, it needs to be valid URL. So if we test, register, okay, and now website, as you can see, it doesn't say this field is required, but if I start typing, it registered, it says please enter a valid URL, which is what we want to achieve. And the last thing is checkbox, okay, this one. So I will just say terms of service required true, and that's it. Now if I hit register, it says this field is required too. If we don't have anything else and we just have required true, we can also write it like this. I can say this and just say he required, and this way should work too. If I hit register, okay, and now if you check, all of the messages are the same, and let's say for whatever reason we want to define our custom message. So how we are going to do, we will actually go to the message and just again write the name of the input, let's say username. I will just do for this one. And let's say message for required will be name is required. Okay. I will define also message for minimum length. Please enter 4 characters. So let's test this. If I hit register, it says now name is required. It's not saying anymore that this field is required. And now if we start typing, it says please enter 4 characters. And if I didn't declare, so let's say I will delete this, it is going to show default one. So if I click character and say name is required, and if I start typing, as you can see, say please enter at least 4 characters, which is default message. And for all that you have here, you can also define the message for the. So let's say I will just do for confirm password, just to show you. So let's say confirm password required. I can say you need to confirm for, let's say, passwords do not match. It's really not important. Say this for equal to, and for the required I will say this is required. You can write anything we want. So let's test. If I hit register, it says for the confirm password this is required. And now if I start typing 3, 4, 5, and for this it says passwords do not match. So as you can see, now for each error we have different messages, and we can do those for all the inputs that we have. Last thing that I want to show you is how to change the color, because we don't want to have this type of the color, which is, I guess, black. So we need to change this. So how can we know how to change this? I'll just click the right and go to the inspect. And now here for this input, you can see that we have a class error. And now if I start typing, so once we have the valid, it says class valid. And if it's not valid, it says class error, which is manipulated by jQuery. With that said, it means that we can define 2 CSS styles. So let's say, okay, and here I will say dot valid, and let's say I will just put the border 1 pixel solid green, so that the person knows everything is okay. And also I will declare error, and I will just say text color will be red. Okay, so let's test now. So if we click on the register, as you can see now the color has been changed, and if we type something valid, now our input have the green border. So guys, pretty much that's it. I think that this is pretty simple but extremely useful tutorial. I hope that if you have any problem or there is anything that you want to ask, you will do it in the comments below and I will be happy to answer it. And also, if you like this video, please like it and share it with your friends. Take care.